My name's Tim Beat, and here's my story. When I joined St. Mary Development Corporation, I wanted to help people who needed a decent, affordable place to live. People who lived in unsafe conditions. People whose homes were in danger of being foreclosed. I thought I'd help change their lives, but I wasn't prepared for how my life would change. Abby was one of the first people I met. When I visited Abby at her house, I could see it was in terrible shape. The outside needed a lot of work, and Abby didn't have any heat because her furnace was broken. Abby lived on a small disability income. She was 59 but couldn't work because of a back and neck injury. All she had was her house, a home she had lived in for 20 years. As bad as Abby's house was, the worst thing was that her home was in foreclosure. She was in danger of losing the little she had. But as I chatted with Abby, I realized that her biggest concern wasn't for herself or where she would live. Abby was worried about the homeless cousin she'd taken in. He had lived with her for quite a while. If Abby lost her house, her cousin would be back on the street. Abby had troubles of her own, but her focus was on helping someone else. I was amazed by Abby's compassion and wondered if I'd have the same caring attitude if I were in her situation. Here's the great news. Abby was able to keep her home, thanks to a St. Mary development program that helped prevent the foreclosure. And she found someone to fix her furnace for free. Abby had tears in her eyes when she told me how St. Mary Development saved her home. But meeting Abby began a change in me. It opened my eyes to the housing problems many people face and made me appreciate my own home more. Abby is just one example of people with serious housing issues in the Dayton area. Here are some numbers that may shock you. Nearly 30% of Dayton residents live below the poverty line. A staggering 44% of children under the age of 18 live in poverty. In Dayton, vacant, boarded-up houses are everywhere. People live in substandard housing, homes and apartments that you and I would find unthinkable to live in, some with no electricity or running water. Tens of thousands of our neighbors don't have a decent place to live. And the city of Dayton isn't the only place where people need better housing. Poverty and housing issues are spreading to the suburbs too. A recent study by the Brookings Institute showed that nearly 10% of people in the Dayton suburbs live in poverty. 10%. And that doesn't even include the thousands who live just above the poverty line but can't make ends meet. I know, the numbers sound staggering. When I hear that thousands of people need decent housing, it makes me wonder if it will ever be possible to help so many people. But I've seen people helped. One at a time, I've seen their lives changed, transformed through generosity and hard work. In the last 20 years, St. Mary Development Corporation has created more than 2,400 affordable homes, low-income senior apartments, single-family homes, emergency housing, we've rescued more than 1,000 homes from foreclosure. And we've helped hundreds of first-time homebuyers make good financial decisions because we believe everyone deserves a decent, affordable place to live. As I met other people who needed help, my misconceptions were blown apart. After chatting with somebody who needed a better home, I always walked away thinking, that could be me, or my brother, or sister, or aunt or uncle. Good people who got caught in bad situations. Hard-working people who got slammed in the face with problems beyond their control. Sometimes age catches up with you. Betsy moved into one of our low-income senior apartments when she couldn't afford the rent and upkeep of a house any longer. She told me the supportive community at our senior apartment helped her survive a bout with cancer. Betsy is one of more than 600 seniors who live in one of St. Mary's senior apartments. Sometimes you need to find a safer home for your kids. Bill and his 9-year-old son moved out of a dangerous neighborhood into a new home with help from our homeownership center. Bill's a single dad working hard to make a good life for his son. Bill told me his son made the honor roll for the very first time ever after moving into their new home. St. Mary Development helped Bill buy his home. We've also built more than 150 single-family homes for low-income families. Sarah is a single mom with 3 kids. I met her at the Red Cross Family Living Center, a partnership between St. Mary Development and the Dayton chapter of the American Red Cross. The center provided Sarah's family with emergency housing after she lost her home through a divorce. She had no place to live and no job. But Sarah told me the center gave her hope. Hundreds of families each year are given hope and a temporary place to live at the Red Cross Family Living Center. These are just a few of the thousands of people St. Mary Development has been able to help. People whose lives have been transformed by a decent place to live, a decent home. But every day we get more calls from people who need help finding a place to live. I got a phone call the other day from a single mom whose son has leukemia. She had to stay at home to take care of him and was about to lose her job and then her apartment. She needed a place to live with her son until she could get back to work and her son could get better. But she didn't qualify for any of St. Mary's housing programs. I gave her some suggestions of other organizations to call, but I'm afraid she may fall through the cracks. I think about her every day because I can't imagine being in her situation. No one should have to choose between having a roof over her head and taking care of a sick child. My life has been changed by the people I've met. My heart has been opened. I live in a nice house in the suburbs. I think about my home a lot lately. I think about the fact that my neighborhood is safe. I'm more aware that I have heat and a roof that doesn't leak while others don't. I think about what I've been blessed with and try not to take my home for granted. I'm thankful for my home. Very thankful. I'm proud that at St. Mary Development, we work toward the day when all residents of Southwest Ohio, especially the economically disadvantaged, have a decent, affordable place to live and become part of a community. People like Abby and Betsy and Bill and Sarah. That's my story. So what's your story? Maybe you need a better place to live. Or maybe you're thankful for your home. Maybe you'd like to help others find a decent place to live. Whatever your story is, I'd like to hear it. You can share your story and watch some others at ThankfulHome.tv. Who knows? Your life may be changed too.